NBC Newsroom in New York. President Kennedy and Governor John Connally of Texas have been cut down by assassins' bullets in downtown Dallas. We'll repeat that. President Kennedy and Governor John Connally of Texas have been cut down by assassins' bullets in downtown Dallas. They were riding in an open automobile when the shots were fired. The president, his limp body cradled in the arms of his wife, Jacqueline, had been rushed to Parkland Hospital. Flint Hill, a Secret Service agent assigned to Mrs. Kennedy, said he's dead as the president was lifted from the rear of a White House touring car, the famous bubble top from Washington. He was rushed to an emergency room in the hospital. Other White House officials were in doubt as the corridors of the hospital erupted in pandemonium. The incident occurred just east of the triple underpass facing a park in downtown Dallas. Reporters about 5 car lengths behind the chief executive were behind the autocade. Stay tuned to your NBC station for the later news.
Friday, November 22nd, 1963, Dallas, Texas. President Kennedy flew from Fort Worth to Dallas aboard Air Force One. The schedule consisted of a 45-minute motorcade from Dallas Love Field, the current main airport for the area, to the Dallas Business and Trade Mart. A speech and steak luncheon was planned, with many leaders from the area attending. The presidential motorcade consisted of staff, other politicians, camera crews, and many attendees. By now, some of you are probably wondering how the heck this has anything to do with some woman by the name of Lady Bird Johnson. Well, if you didn't already know, she was the wife, at the time, of current Vice President, soon-to-be President, Lyndon B. Johnson. According to her diary, the event started out like so.
It all began so beautifully. After a drizzle in the morning, the sun came out so bright and so clear. We were driving into Dallas. Driving. The lead car, in them, it was President and Mrs. Kennedy, John and Nellie Connally, a Secret Service car full of men, and then our car with Lyndon and me and Senator Ralph Yarborough. The streets were just lined with people, lots of people. The children all smiling, and placards, confetti, people just waving from the windows. One last happy moment I had was looking up and seeing Mary Griffith leaning out a window and waving to me. It seems like it was yesterday.
Ma'am, it was yesterday.
What? That's impossible! I can't believe this.
The president is dead. This is a sad day for America.
Mr. President, do you solemnly swear by our holy Bible to be a good president? Seriously, you did at our wedding.
Yes, I solemnly swear.
Good boy. Well, good. I would like to welcome you as new president thank you, of our United States of America. Serve our country well. So sorry your husband had to die. It's okay. He got shot. Who would have thought? I don't know. Who did it? I want to know who did it. It's just a shocker. I bet it was the Secret Service.
Sorry to interrupt here. Would any of you like some snacks?
All of them, please.
Okay.
Oh, here's chocolate for you.
No, this was never
Chocolate's
here.
good.
Goodbye.
Oh. He's dead. Who's dead? The president. The president's dead. Oh gosh. I don't know. How am I going to live with myself alone? Get married again. I'm not the first lady. No, I am. I'm not famous. I'm sorry. You're stealing my position. I'm sorry. I have nothing left. I'm sorry. No money. I'm sorry. My family. I'm sorry. I was a bag of chips. I'm sorry. Sorry,
President. We have about 30 minutes till we land in D.C. Again, it's about 30 minutes until we land in D.C. So, just hang in there, okay?
Last time something happened for 30 minutes, it was a motorcade. Dallas, 1960. Something. What year is it? I don't know anymore. Pray today, and with your donation, we can change America. Our Savior, Obama, Obama.
It's close to it. Hey, everybody!
She's like, what?
Follow them around. Follow them.
Like the kid with the staple gun.
We'll eat your family.
Question number 1. What do you admire most about Lady Bird Johnson? Why?
I admire Lady Bird Johnson's ability to recollect this horrific scene and meticulously describe this event, because I know that I could not.
Question number 2. What are the writer's thoughts about Mrs. Kennedy at the hospital?
The writer states that Mrs. Kennedy was in great shock at the loss of her husband suddenly.
Question number 2, part B. In what ways is Mrs. Kennedy alone?
Mrs. Kennedy was alone by being the only one greatly affected by the situation and was one of only 2 women at the scene.
Question number 3. What is the most noticeable aspect of Mrs. Kennedy's appearance when Mrs. Johnson speaks with her at Air Force One?
The most noticeable aspect of Mrs. Kennedy on Air Force One was her legs caked with blood.
Question number 3, Part B. In what way is wearing the clothing a tribute to her husband?
The wearing of the clothing was a tribute of remembrance to the event which just happened.
Question number 4. Where does Lyndon Johnson go take the oath of office?
Lyndon Johnson takes the oath of office in Air Force One.
Question number 4, Part B. Which details from the text indicate that the Johnsons are up to the tasks before them?
The Johnsons moved swiftly to get to safety and assumed the position of President and First Lady.
Question number 5. How does Mrs. Kennedy behave after the death of her husband?
Mrs. Kennedy behaves really well to the situation, calm and somewhat collected.
Question number 5, Part B. What similarities do you find between Mrs. Kennedy and Mrs. Johnson?
Both women were shocked and needed to quickly get to safety and do their duties.
Question number 6. Why might a diary entry be an effective way for a person to grieve and cope with a tragic event?
A diary can give someone a way to share emotions and write as much as they can about them, being personal.